Hey everyone, what's up? So today I'm going to be talking about Gouki. So Gouki is a deck from the anime right now, and its whole theme is kind of like buffing all your monsters up and just like attacking all at once, just doing like a ton of crazy damage. While that is the theme of the deck, that's not actually what I'm going for. When I first built the deck, that's what I found with the deck. I was like, you could get Great Ogre to like over 5,000 attack in a turn, but that's not what I'm aiming for with this. What I'm aiming for with the deck is kind of be a bit more spammy with the Link monsters. So I'm gonna get right into this build. So first off, there's Gigantes. So you guys probably saw this in my other video for the Cybers deck, but this time around, Gigantes can banish your Gouki monsters, so that's pretty cool. It can also banish your Might Mrs. Radiant, Gouki Thunder Giant. I think it can banish Gaia Saber. It can banish Gouki Great Ogre. You have Invoker, Seraphonite, so you have a lot of targets. Oh, and you have Garnet down there. So you have a lot of targets. It can be used to make Proxy Dragon, it can be used to make Mrs. Radiant. I haven't used Video Knight yet, but it can be used to make that. It can be used to make Decode Talker. It can be used for everything. It's a really good card. It's basically just a free special summon, free monster, good card. Next there's 3 Headbat, 3 Scorpio, 3 Suplex, and 3 Twist Cobra. So each Gouki monster has a thing where when it leaves the field and goes to the grave, you can search one Gouki card, not just a monster, but a card, and add it to your hand. So that includes Gouki Rematch. So by the end of your turn, aside from having used a Gouki Rematch, you should always still have another one in your hand for next turn, because of how much you're searching. So Headback, you discard a Gouki, and you basically have to special summon this by targeting another Gouki and giving it 800 attack. So it's a fairly good card. It's not the best one out of the 4, but it's pretty good. Next is Gouki Rising Scorpio. So this one is just level 5, and if you control no monsters, or you only control Gouki, you can just normal summon it and then no tribute. So that's about it. I'm going to say it's the worst Gouki, but it's still half decent. So like, if you have no other options, nothing else to search, if you're trying to pick which card to pitch, like, this card should be the first card that you're like discarding and like the last card that you're putting on the field. It's not the best option. So like, using it as a resource for cards like Scorpio, Twin Twister, using it for things like that, that's fine, but like, don't rely on it. Don't be like, oh, it has 2,300 attack, so I should summon it. Don't be that guy, right? So next is Gouki Suplex, probably the best Gouki right now. When you normal summon it, you special summon a Gouki. So plain and simple, it's 2 cards for 1. Real good card, 1,800 attack. It's pretty decent. Can be searched off Rhoda, so it's a very good card. And also that effect's not once per turn either. So if you're using, so you have Seraphonite on the field, so you have the extra normal summon, and you already played a Suplex. You play another Suplex, you get that effect again. Really good card, I like it a lot. Next is Twist Cobra. It can tribute a Gouki, including itself, to target one Gouki on the field, and it gains that attack. So you can basically give any other Gouki you want, plus 1,600 attack, plus 800 attack, plus 2,300 attack, plus 1,800 attack. It's cool for like beefing stuff up. If you're trying to swing for game, it's a good card. Again, it has the same effects that if it leaves field to grave, you search a Gouki. Next is 3 Lone Fire Blossom. So this card is basically an upstart goblin in the deck. When you play it, you're just going to tribute it, summon the next Blossom, tribute it, summon the next Blossom, tribute it, and then you get Orphis Scorpio. Scorpio discards, you get Darling Cobra. Darling Cobra searches out Brilliant Fusion. Brilliant Fusion sends Trick Clown and Garnet. You get Seraphonite. Then you have these 2 guys. So actually, before you go for Seraphonite, what you can do is get your Brilliant Fusion, overlay these two into Invoker, and then use Invoker, you can get Suplex, Twist Cobra, any of those guys, get them, and then you can make Mrs. Radiant with Invoker and whichever monster you summoned, then play Brilliant Fusion, because now you have 2 more places to put Shrapnite. And then you can just go wild off the combos. You search whatever you want, say, like, you probably just go for Rematch. So right there, you're going to make Firewall Dragon, because you're going to have a Shrapnite on the field, Mrs. Radiant, which is a Link 2, and then you're going to have 2 Gouki. So you really do get a lot of options out of this deck. You get a lot of value. Max C, it's probably going to be banned soon, but it's there, because I like to just go through my deck. If I can get through this deck, because I know it's a 44 card deck, and everyone's looking at it, it's like, why isn't it 40 cards? It's not 40 cards because in this deck, you have so much going on. It's searching like crazy. You're just searching every turn, so there's not a lot of need to like restrict yourself to 40 when you're just pulling stuff out of your deck so much. 3 Trick Clown. So aside from it being good for Brilliant Fusion, it's also good for, say, like Decode Talker or Firewall Dragon, because once it leaves the field, it brings itself back. You're still getting their effects. It's good for Link in general. Really good card. Then there's the Darling Cobra and Orpheus Scorpion, which I already discussed. You play them, you make Invoker, you make Mrs. Radiant, you play Brilliant Fusion, you get Shrapnite, you just get a lot of crazy combos. I think I opened this one game and I ended up with like 2 Firewall Dragons and Gouki. It was such a good board. 2 Garnet, simple. Garnet, it's Earth, so it works for Mrs. Radiant. Works for Brilliant Fusion, great card. 3 Brilliant Fusion. You guys probably already know this, but like for anyone who's looking at this being like, why are you playing 3 Brilliant Fusion but only 1 Fusion target? The reason being is you want to get to this card as quick as possible. This card is a combo starter. It just starts off so much, so it doesn't matter if I only have 1 target for it. What matters is I'm getting to it as quickly as possible, just so I can play it and just go into combos. 3 Gouki Rematch. This is pretty much a monster reborn for Gouki. It plays them in defense, but has to target 2 Gouki, not up to 2, so it has to be 2. It puts them in defense, and they have to have different levels. So you don't really need to be thinking too much about this card. It's Monster Reborn, it's free Mrs. Radiant, free Link Monster, free whatever. Mind Control, you're getting a Link Monster. Let's put it that way. Like, you're taking your opponent's monster and you're turning it into a Link Monster. Rhoda, mainly to search out Suplex. The Suplex is just godly. Transmodify, I was trying this card at 3, but I didn't really like it. It would be there when I didn't need it, or like it wouldn't be there, and kind of just like not really use it that much. So I'm playing it at 1 now. It's still an alright card, since every Gouki is 1 level higher than the last, so it's decent. Twin Twister is gonna stock your graveyard. It's gonna chuck all your Gouikis for rematch. It's gonna set you up for Trick Clown. It's gonna get rid of the Darling Cobras in your hand. So it's an overall good card. Just 3 Solemn Strike, because Solemn Strike. And then down in the extra deck, there's a Shrapnite. I've gone into detail already about why I'm playing Shrapnite. Next is a Decode Talker. Decode Talker it points back to Firewall Dragon, so it sets Firewall Dragon up. Decode Talker's still a really good card right now. 3 Gaia Saber. I've heard so much about this card, but I haven't really played it that much in any game. Whenever I have the option to link 3, I'm usually going for one of my Ogres, or I'm going for Decode Talker. I haven't played Gaia Saber at all yet, but I see it in a lot of deck profiles, so I kind of just stuck it in there. Next is Great Ogre. So it's a link 3, so 3 monsters, and it's 2 or more Gouki, and it just takes every monster, and they all lose attack equal to their defense. Gouikis all have 0 defense. So keep that in mind, that you're not really in danger when you play this. It's more your opponent's in danger. Thunder Giant is giving you another normal summon, but it can also give your opponent another normal summon. So make sure that when you're playing Thunder Giant, that by the end of the turn, this guy's off of your field. Get him off your field by the end of the turn, just saying. Get your free extra normal summon, then get him off your board. 2 Mysis Radiant, because it's a Link 2. It's 2 Earth, so it's really free. All your Earth monsters gain 500 attack defense, and then if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you take an Earth monster from your grave, add to your hand. Real simple. Good card, 1900 attack basically. It's doing a decent bit for the deck. Proxy Dragon at 1. I'm playing this because it's really generic, so it works well for, like, it's a good mind control target. If you're playing against, like, true dinos and they're for some reason playing Lost World, it can use up their tokens. It's a decent target. If I'm choosing Proxy Dragon and Mysis Radiant though, I'm gonna go for Mysis Radiant because the arrows are pointing downward, and since with how fast Yu-Gi-Oh is, you're gonna be wanting these arrows that point down into your main monster field versus this guy, because he's pointing left and right, so he's kind of like a secondary Link monster, is what I've been calling them. It's not the first Link monster you want to make because you're not getting a lot of value out of it, versus Mysis Radiant is a primary one, because you're getting the value out of having those 2 extra zones now. And then you make him, and then you get another 2 zones. Then there's Castell, mainly because Trick Clown Suplex Gigantes. Invoker, I've already discussed a lot about Invoker. You have Darling Cobra and Orphis Scorpion into Invoker, into Seraphonite, into all these Firewall Dragon combos. And finally, there's 39 S39. Pretty plain, simple. So that's the build, really. So, make sure to like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to YouTube. In the description, you can find the link to the Facebook page, the Twitch stream, all that good stuff. So make sure you check all that stuff out, give them all likes. And that's really it. So if you guys have any suggestions, comments, any of that stuff, make sure to let me have them. And until next time, guys.